One of the things that fascinated me about this last election uh, was, and drill it down to get in the weeds a little bit, was the claim that, oh, there are so many hunters that were not registered to vote, and isn't that crazy? It didn't seem to be the big issue in Florida because Florida is really the blueprint for the nation and how things need to operate. I mean, I'm just looking at the stuff that they've done in Florida and it dawns on you, this is common sense outreach. Why are we not copying this in why are we not doing this in Texas? Texas, why is Florida beating Texas? It's not supposed to be like that. And I bring this up because all the attention with regards to Florida was in Amendments 3 and 4, and that was the abortion stuff and the big weed bill, or the big weed amendment. But what didn't get a lot of attention was this victory that they had, a constitutional amendment that protects hunting and fishing. And I think this is like the 20th some odd state in the union that actually has made this a constitutionally protected thing, which you would think it already is, but it's not. But good on Florida for making this happen. But what gets me, going back to my point, is I was looking at how they did their outreach. 4.5 million text messages, 500,000 mail pieces. They sent it out to sportsmen and to women, to hunters, to anglers, to everybody, people who had not even voted before. Think about how much, and that was for Amendment 2, the turnout that they were able to generate through that, and just they really siloed it in. They got that turnout, and now it's protected, and it went over that 60% threshold, where the other amendments did not even near it. One of the people who was spearheading this huge victory is Luke Hilgeman, and he is with the International Order of Teddy Roosevelt, and you can find them on, I almost said Twitter, on X at IOTR official. I'm going to not call it Twitter at some point. Luke Hilgeman joins us now via Skype. Luke, congratulations. This is a huge victory. And it didn't get a lot of attention, but what it amazed, you guys did such great outreach with this, where everyone else seemed to struggle to get hunters and anglers to register to vote.
Yeah, Dana, thank you so much for having me on, and you hit it spot on. The right to fish and hunt is now forever protected in Florida as the 24th state to adopt constitutional right to hunt and fish. And our outreach was different. We depended on grassroots leaders, folks from all of Florida, folks from multiple different groups that were out there with us, fighting the good word about fishing and hunting being in jeopardy. There is a radical movement out there that was trying to criminalize hunting and fishing in states like Oregon, Colorado, and multiple other Western states. And what we did in Florida not only surpassed the vote totals for abortion and weed by nearly 1 million votes, it also surpassed the amount of votes that Donald Trump was able to receive in a historic victory in Florida by 930,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. That is, and one of the reasons that you were so successful, and this is something from the memo that you had sent out, your organization, was how you were strategizing the manner and tone of your messaging. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when we went to the field, we found out very quickly that talking to people about fishing and hunting as being a humane and natural way to manage Florida's wildlife saw a huge spike in the amount of support that we had, even for people who don't fish and hunt. And we stayed disciplined to that message. We built an influencer network of people, more than 60 influencers in the state of Florida, with a combined reach of over 35 million people who shared that messaging, shared our messages out there with their followers. And then we did over 300 grassroots events, targeting not just anglers and hunters, but citizens all across the state, talking to them about the threats to fishing and hunting and why this was such an important part of Florida's identity and locking these traditions down forever in Florida. And I think the biggest political part of it, Dana, was that we found 1.7 million hunters and anglers in the state of Florida who are low propensity voters who weren't even registered to vote. We had 500,000 of them who weren't registered to vote. We were able to register 25,000 new voters and turn out a significant number of those 1.7 million low propensity voters who put us way over the top of the 60% threshold.
That's amazing. This is one of the most successful voter outreaches and victories that I've ever heard, because from what I understand, just like the support and the votes for this just beat any other kind of proposal, any other amendment like this before. I mean, it really set a record.
Absolutely did. And we had more people join us to defend fishing and hunting rights in the state of Florida, nearly 7 million people voted yes on Amendment 2, which means that it was a historic vote where we had more people voting on this amendment than any other state that passed it before.
I read that the amendment had majority support in all 67 counties. That's
Yes.
insane. I've never seen so many people agree on something like that so much in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, we were blessed. Again, we had an incredible team of people who were dedicated to protecting hunting and fishing rights across the state that were working tirelessly to make sure that this victory happened.
Yeah.
And the best part now is IOTR plans to take this blueprint to the rest of the 26 states that don't have these protections and try to get them on the ballot as soon as we can.
That's amazing that 26 states do not have these protections. That kind of floors me because when I was reading that it was the 24th state, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't all 50? This is really shocking to me. You also added 25,000 new registrations of these are younger men under the age of 25. It's amazing because they don't vote. And they
Yeah.
registered and they voted. That this demo never votes, and they voted for
Yes.
you. You got them to vote.
Absolutely. You put fishing and hunting on the ballot. You educate them about the threats to what they love to do. And these guys are going to show up at the polls and they are going to vote to protect those rights forever, like we saw in Florida. And while they're there, I think they're going to also cast ballots for conservatives who protect these traditions across the board. And I'm really excited to tell the story about what we achieved in Florida and look forward to rolling this out to multiple states here in the next couple of years.
I can't wait to see you do that. Also, I have to note that the margin of victory that you had and your outreach with this up until everyone always talked about the blueprint in Colorado when they had progressives come in and they were anti-gun, anti-hunting, anti-everything, and in 2 election cycles they were able to flip everything. You didn't need 2 election cycles. You actually, and I was comparing like their outreach to the outreach that was taking place with these amendments in this last election. I mean, it's not even comparable. I mean, you beat them to death rhetorically.
Yes.
I mean, you smoked them. The margins it's not even there. That to me is, so now we can stop talking about the Colorado blueprint and we can just only talk about the Florida blueprint because this is the only one that has consecutively worked in every single election.
Amen. Amen. And what we saw is $400 million was spent on behalf of Amendments 3 and 4, as you mentioned in the early part of the interview. They had $400 million spent to try and pass abortion and weed in Florida. We did this with about $8 million and just really doubled down on the grassroots strategy and connecting people with the information about why these traditions are so important to the future of the state and the future of our country.
I love this. Well, this is a huge success, and it kind of got lost in all the amendments 3 and 4, which I get, and they were very important things to talk about. But this is also hugely significant. And what's even more is that the younger generation that never shows up, you got them to show up and vote. You got them registered to vote. You got them to show up to vote. You got the low propensity voters to go and vote. I mean, these are historically demos that you can never count on. And not only could you count on them, but you're going to be able to count on them in future elections. And you're going to be able to expand on these victories. This is huge. Luke Halligan, this is huge. I mean, congratulations on this because I don't know. I just haven't seen a victory by this margin. It's good to win. It's good to have some wins.
It feels great to do that. And again, we look forward to taking this and passing it in as many states as we can very soon.
Absolutely. Luke, thank you so much. International Order of Teddy Roosevelt or T. Roosevelt, IOTR. Appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving Day.